Morning, everyone, to our VIP pre-market prep. This video available to our VIP members only on an unlisted YouTube link, and will be published after the market close. We're going to do it real quick in 10 minutes. I'll go a little overview on some stocks and macro first, and then we'll bring on special guest Dan Carlson to talk about TFFP pharmaceuticals. First, we're looking at the major indices, not only holding their impressive gains yesterday, but building on them. QQQ, I think, is above the 50 DMA here. It could have room up there to the 20 DMA, 355. So that's just the technicals. You see Apple going up. Tesla has earnings this afternoon. Bitcoin, the risk asset, going up. Gold bounced off the 20 DMA yesterday, so hopefully that'll stay and that'll be a good sign for us. And I mentioned Tesla and KMI earnings after the close. Let's get into a couple specific stocks first. Man, we got to talk about Netflix real quick. Netflix down 28% to 250. Now, I kind of take exception with the consensus wisdom on this that Netflix is a company-specific issue. It may be, but you got to have a trigger for it, right? People do it when economies are rosy. People keep services they don't need. So why would they cut out a service they don't need? It's because they're getting the pinch. In this case, they're getting the inflation pinch, causing consumers to make choices. You can see the market thinks it's a sector issue with streaming. Perhaps they're thinking it's the reopening trade and people are going to go out and watch less streaming as they go on vacations more. But I am worried, as I've been saying for a long time, that this is an inflation-induced recession coming as people make tough choices about consumer discretionary spending. I've been warning that Apple, I think, could warn or guide lower, and that can bring the Qs down. So I'm very suspicious of this rally. I'm still long, but I'm long stocks I like. But I'm going to be taking opportunities if we do hit these resistance levels at like 355 or 368 if it gets there, to reduce my exposure. And perhaps I'll be looking at taking a short position on Apple right before earnings. We'll see. But I continue to be suspicious about this market. All right, so let me get to Dan quickly, and then because in respect of his time, and then we can maybe get into a couple other stocks. So TFFP, let me just bring it up first before we bring him in. There's the chart. You can see we brought this up a couple weeks ago because of an insider buy, and it just touched that 200 DMA and came right back off the 200 DMA. Didn't break out, which is disappointing because I bought on that insider buy. Yesterday, we had some news, so I'm going to bring on Dan now to tell us a little bit about that news and the implications for the stock. Dan, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome. I like your coat. You look nice and warm.
Yeah, that's just at the dump. So,
all right, cool. So, what's going on? We had some news on TFFP yesterday. What are the implications of that?
well, I mean, let me talk about the big picture first, if I could.
Sure.
TFF has had issues, obviously, of over-promising and under-delivering on delivering partnerships. They got 3 internal programs that are going very well and a bunch of external programs that they talk about doing well, but they've never brought in someone that writes a big check. And in this current environment, which I wrote about in my newsletter last weekend, balance sheet's the most important issue for all these biotechs, and what your runway is and when you're going to need to raise money. And I think the street is focused on their burn rate and the fact that they, unless they bring in a partner, which they've failed to do, they're going to need to raise money probably, early next year-ish timeframe, if not late this year. So that's why we get good news yesterday and the stock's down. In my opinion, it's people are focused more on the balance sheet as opposed to on the prospects for them bringing in a partner. And I can't blame anyone for that perspective because, as I said, they have to date failed to deliver on their promises. That being said, they have 3 things going on in internal programs besides external partnerships, and focus on the internal in my mind because that's the stuff they control. And I think all of those programs, which are voriconazole, tacrolimus, and then niclosamide, which they had data yesterday, are all going very well. And all the data suggests that these drugs work as promised, greater efficacy at lower dosages, so therefore reduced side effects. and therefore they will take market share once approved, and they should be able to bring in partners, which will at that time alleviate the financing concerns. So, in particular, yesterday niclosamide came out with their phase 1 data. It's important for a couple of reasons. One, it supports everything they've said about that drug, but also about the platform. They showed on their inhaled version 15 times greater uptake into the bloodstream than on the oral version that's out there now in the market. It's a generic as an oral in the market. So that's incredible potency. And the issue with niclosamide, and it's been tested orally in COVID, has not been failure to be efficacious. It's been the side effects that are dose-limiting toxicity. So getting 15 times the uptake and also directly delivering to the lungs where COVID starts and where it replicates in the lungs before even entering the bloodstream could positions niclosamide as a very likely candidate to be one of the best, if not the best, therapeutic in the market for COVID. So their data suggests this, which is obviously very positive for them. But it also is another endorsement for the platform where they say we can take a drug with dose-limiting toxicity and be more efficacious at lower dosages. And this plays right into that thesis. So it sort of validates the platform. I think all 3 of their internal programs have validated the platform so far. So then the next thing, the stock's down. Well, they need to partner this. Now they have a signed partnership agreement with Union Therapeutics, which is a European company, but Union has an option at this time to pick up the drug. And yesterday was important from that perspective in that once they delivered that data to Union, which have now done, it's a 45-day option. So now the clock is ticking on Union. And so in 45 days, you have what is potentially the biggest catalyst to date for this company, which would be a check written to them by a third party to take over one of their drugs. So that's sort of where we're at. The data is phenomenal. The clock's ticking on Union. If Union picks up the option and they're quoted in the press release talking about the drug, and the data suggests that it's better than anything out there, and Union is trying to position themselves as the niclosamide company, it makes a lot of sense that this option will be picked up by Union. So the data suggests that in 45 days we will have that catalyst.
And what is the amount of that option? How much do they get paid?
So the total package is $210 million plus a single-digit royalty, but that $210 million is in upfront and milestone payments. We've done the math on our own. They don't announce what those milestones are, nor what the amounts are associated with each, but we believe the upfront payment, based on our homework, is $10 million. So that would be a $10 million check in 45 days. And then the balance would be of those milestone payments would be due on passing a phase 2, on approval, and then hitting certain sales milestones.
Okay. And in terms of development costs, who's going to take that on once they take that option?
If Union picks up the option, they take on 100% of the costs.
Oh, wow. And operations as well?
No, they're just taking over the drugs. So they will be responsible for the future trials and running the application process for the IND, et cetera. Now, I'm sure TFF will be working with them to some degree. So, there's going to be some personnel time.
There's still some overhead costs and stuff,
allocated,
right?
some overhead costs, but you're talking minimal,
right?
From TFF.
Oh, that's very interesting. So it not only did they get 10 million in, another potential 190 million in milestones plus royalties after that, but also they're going to possibly reduce their cost structure.
Yeah, well, they've been paying for the phase 1 trial. That payment's over, so yeah, they won't have to pay for further development of this drug. So
Okay, and just a quick little bit about this company. How what's the name of the company again? I'm sorry, that has the option.
It's called Union Therapeutics.
How big of a
I
company
think
are they? Are they public?
it's a private company. I believe they're out of the Netherlands, if memory serves me. They're backed by some wealthy pharmaceutical investors, so they've got some deep pockets backing them.
Right. What's your prediction if this option is taken on? How do you think the stock should react? Or how much do you think the stock would be worth? It's 145 million market cap now. Uh, tell us your opinion on that if
Yeah,
they
so
do get
so
the
you
option.
know, the right now this is I believe we're in a bear market, and it's a very difficult time for companies to see massive spikes on catalysts. Um, I would suggest that this changes the public's perception of the company. So there'll be an obviously immediate uptick. I mean, getting some money in, which will help eliminate financing concerns. 10 million doesn't eliminate financing concerns, but it helps. So you'll see. I mean, I'm guessing 20 to 30% gain on that day if Union takes the option. But I think more importantly, their other programs, voriconazole and tacrolimus, will get validation. Those are in phase 2. They expect to have results in Q3, and they're already starting partnership discussions, and they have a data room. They're sharing the data. They've got people in there looking at it. They won't sign a partnership until the phase 2 data is complete. But I think that Union would validate what they're doing to a great degree. So I think besides the initial uptake in the stock from a Union deal, I think you'll get investors start saying, okay, this platform is legit. They're going to get some more money in from these other things, and you start extrapolating. Then they won't need to raise money, and so I think the initial uptick is just the start, and this could be the spark for a longer sustained move.
Okay, I want to quickly ask you before you go. I don't know if you saw this. Checkmate Pharmaceuticals got like a 330% premium in a buyout yesterday. Did you see that? Which company was it? Well, some big pharma company bought them.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that? Because I was speculating that this is great for stocks like TFFP, that even in a bear market, where these stocks are really underpriced, if there is some sort of a partnership or deal or something with equity, the market is really kind of looking past current pricing, at least for biotechs. That's my take on it. And what are your thoughts on that deal and
Yeah,
how it might
I look
impact
at the market
TFFP?
as kind of caught between two different things happening. One is acquisitions are going to happen. The valuations are low. No one wants to sell at these valuations. Hence that that 300% price increase for Checkmate, right? So if you have something of value that's validated, major pharma is going to come in and be happy to buy it. I think there's been that's probably about the 4th acquisition in the last 2 weeks in the space. So that has started. There's a ton of cash on the sidelines for major pharma to make acquisitions. I think that's going to be an ongoing theme. At the same time, my feeling about biotech is that so many companies went public. There's so many small ones out there, and they're all chasing um, I think somewhat similar diseases or different tweaks on a situation, and extending the life of someone who's got cancer by 2 months. I don't think people are going to pay you billions of dollars for that anymore, and I'm not sure that CMS is going to pay 50 to 100 to $400,000 a year for 2 months of life extension. So I'm looking for companies that I think have unique platforms with massive opportunities. That's where TFF comes in. They fit into the theme of more efficacious and potentially lower cost as a result of this. And then like my other big name in the space is Immune Bio, where they're going after Alzheimer's, where no one's had any success at all. So I really think you need to be very careful at looking at biotech in that the market still is overcrowded. There's a lot of companies that are going to need to raise money, and so I think there's going to be continued pressure in the space. There's been talked about a number of acquisitions, but there's also been a number of blowups lately, and I think you're going to see more of those coming because it's an overcrowded space, and people have got a lot of funding for drugs that aren't that exciting, in my opinion.
Great. Awesome. Dan, thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you?
TWResearchGroup.com. They got a free newsletter. There's a sign-up sheet on the homepage. Love to have you sign up. And awesome. I also have a premium service as well that I can talk about with anyone.
Great. Thank you, Dan, so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks. Good luck.
Thanks. Take care. All right, so there's a story on TFFP. We're going to take a couple more minutes to look at some other stocks here. As a Kinder Morgan, I got a position in this. They have earnings after the close. That's a natural gas midstream player. Also a little bit of Kinetrics. They got a natural gas producing component in there. So I don't know how they're going to do, but I like to stay diversified and have a little bit of energy company in my portfolio. Tesla. Again, I don't know. Got no idea what to tell you how they're going to do after the close, but I got exposure to Tesla via lithium, a few lithium stocks. They've been doing great. I did pick up ACTG yesterday after Matt Culp's presentation last week on social media once we released our video on Friday. And I love getting that validation from other people in the investment community. And I saw the chart starting to tick up here as it almost touched the 20 DMA. So I did finally pick up some ACTG on that excellent presentation. You can go look it up on our YouTube channel from Matt Kolb. Kodak, we're just waiting. I love, our due diligence. I'm just going to have patience and knowing and understanding that it's going to be impacted by what the QQQ does until the next major catalyst. So that's just what you got to deal with. And aside from that, we're waiting on Elon Musk's next move on Twitter. Rumor is going to be doing a tender offer in the next several days. And aside from that, we're looking at our wheat and agriculture and uranium, and we all have nice exposure to that, hopefully, at this point in time. And that's all it is, and I just want to kind of recap. By the way, Zim. I noted this the other day that it was bouncing off the 200 DMA, and it did. It ended up being a good time to purchase some Zim up sharply, 55 to 61. So that may be something worth a look. I'm not in it right now. So yeah, I'm continuing to be skeptical about this market. By the way, I didn't bring up Gaia and CSSE. It'll be interesting to see how these two stocks react. Will they be thrown in the bucket with streaming stocks, Netflix, Disney, and Roku here at the open? Obviously, not enough liquidity to get an accurate price in pre-market. Or possibly I'm thinking, will these now be seen as takeover candidates? Who knows? Maybe we need to see some consolidation in the space, and companies like Gaia and Chicken Soup for the Soul here can benefit from it. I really don't know the answer to that. I'm not in either of these stocks. I do want to note that CSSE announced pricing of $10.4 million in notes yesterday after the close, or it was announced. No, the pricing was this morning. They announced the offering last night, and the pricing actually just came out while we were talking. So you can take a look at that. I have no idea how this particular deal should impact the stock, but I'll be watching CSSE and Gaia in terms of this sector. But yeah, I continue to be a skeptic. I continue to think there's chances of recession are very high. And if we get opportunities to take some off the table at resistance levels in the NASDAQ, I'm going to do that. So guys, thank you for joining us. Have a great day.